Hello folks, welcome to the newly rebranded Deadman in the Boneyard. Let's get started with my first movie, something I put out a request of who wanted to be reviewed what, and the request was about a year ago, so I'm a little behind. Let's get to it though. Ghostbusters 2016. I'm going to go ahead and just reformat everything in my channel. I got new lights. As you can tell, they're kind of blinding, but you can see all my cool pops. We're going to be breaking this down into three categories: the good, the bad, and the bare bones. Kind of going with a theme here, but let's get to it. The good about the Ghostbusters 2016 movie, and let's just start off by stating the obvious. I don't understand how this movie could have failed so miserably when you have a director who's had some success. It's hit and miss, but it is some success. You have four very funny and talented ladies and a script that's been rewritten more times than the Bible. Now, how could all this still fall flat on its face? And we're going to get into that in just a second. Let's start with the coolest parts about the movie was, there was a whole lot of homages to the original. A lot of the updates did work on camera. However, delivering the whole package failed more than a couple of times. The tech, going from the original proton packs to what they have now was really cool. Actually, I liked that a lot. I liked seeing this upgraded, more action-orientated tech that they designed for the movie. Thank you. And I thought it was really cool, and I hope to see where it goes a little bit further down the road. Now, there is some genuine laughs. I actually laughed during this movie, which is something I didn't think I was going to say. I really thought I was going to come out of this movie just kind of grumpy and disappointed that they didn't get the point. But the truth is that they have a very specific style of humor, much like the original one did. They've just updated it, and it's just not my cup of tea, I guess you could say. But it was genuinely funny. I think the funniest bit was at the end of the movie. Chris Hemsworth playing Kevin, he's eating a sandwich, and one of the characters grabs the sandwich and throws it, and he just goes, "Little help." Somebody just tosses the sandwich back to him. He just catches it, keeps eating. Stupidest bit of the movie, made me laugh the hardest. So, speaking of Chris Hemsworth, that's another piece of good. This cat really liked doing this movie, and you can actually tell he did steal the scene. And a lot of the scenes he was in, he did get to steal the scene. And I don't know if that's because he's a good actor or just because everybody else playing against him was a little bit weaker. But it was still really cool. It was still really fun to see Thor bumbling around as a big dumb blonde guy. Thank you. And the last piece of good in this movie was the Ghostbusters themselves. They did have a lot of personality, but unfortunately it didn't show through in a lot of it because, and we'll get into that in a minute, but my favorite, of course, has to be Holtz. Like, come on, who didn't see that coming? Come on. Now, let's get to the bad. Way too much ad-libbing, way too much improv, way too much going off script. Now, when this movie is funny is when the characters are on script and they're doing their jobs and they're doing exactly what was written out for them. When the director decides to let them go off script and just, have fun with the role is where the movie falls apart. Especially in a lot of places, it just kind of fumbles. Like, it doesn't know what it wants to be. Like, is it going to be SNL funny, or is it going to be, this new age weirdo comedy? It doesn't know what it wants to be when it goes off the rails, and that's kind of what kills you. Kind of takes you out of the experience, because where you have a clean and polished script because of how much time they spent on it, it falls apart when they don't stick to it. Now, going back to that is the sloppiness of the script. There is some cool stuff in there. There is some really funny moments, and there is some some weirdness to be had considering this generation's sense of humor. But the script itself, even though as much as it was, combed over micro, measure by micro measure, it still felt sloppy. It still felt misguided, and it still felt like it didn't know what it wanted to be. Also, on the side of the script is the villain. The villain is forgettable. He's bland. He's pointless. He's kind of just comes across as, like a teenage angsty guy. And the only time he really gets interesting is when he takes over Chris Hemsworth's body. I don't do spoilers, but if you haven't seen this movie, I don't think you're gonna at this point. And if you're gonna, I don't think you really care at this point. Chris Hemsworth being possessed and being the bad guy is honestly like the most interesting part of what's supposed to be that. But even at that point, you're just kind of like, oh, generic bad guy number fucking 4 or 5 or whatever. It's generic, it's been done, and it doesn't serve a purpose here either. Here's the worst part about this movie. And here's honestly what kind of destroyed the whole movie for me, is this whole thing that they did that all men are either complete dicks or just fucking stupid. There is a really fun line in there where one of the characters tells the mayor that he's the mayor from Jaws. And that was funny, and it got a laugh out of me, I'm not gonna lie. It was a really cool reference, but just the rest of the cast, that if it involves a male in any sort of form, they are stupid, or they're just complete and utter fucking dicks. And I didn't like that at all. I mean, it's not that I'm all like, like anti-feminism or anything else like that. But when you write a movie and you're trying to you're trying to establish yourself, this is not the way to do that. And it's just not about pro-feminism or men's rights, whatever. It's just about the idea that when you're writing a smart movie and you want it to be a smart movie, make your character smart. One of the conflicts that made the original movie so good was, Walter Peck from the EPA. Did I say his name right? I think I said his name right. From the EPA was a believable character. The mayor was a believable character. Everybody that was involved was a believable character because that's the way they were written. In this movie, it kind of fails in that and kind of kills it. And that's, I think, one of the biggest weaknesses of the movie. So, let's get down to the last part and we'll wrap this up. The bare bones of it. The work was put into this, and a lot of work was put into it, and it shows. It really does show. When you see the original Ghostbusters, the ones that are still living, in the movie, when you see a lot of touches of love, it really shows that there was a lot of work put into this, but it doesn't pay off. It doesn't deliver in the end. And the main reason it doesn't deliver in the end is because they just couldn't figure out where to go with it. It was a directionless movie, and I hoped it would have been better. We'll talk about this whole men are dumb thing. It did have some third wave feminism in there. Pro girls, boys are dumb. I'm not disagreeing with the message. I'm disagreeing with the delivery. This was not the place to do that. You have Pitch Perfect. The director, Paul Feig, has Pitch Perfect. He has several other projects where he can flex that muscle. This was not that project to do that with. Not because of excluding or including anybody, but because this is not a project or a movie or a script or a series that lends itself easily to that. It is a movie and a series based off of strong characters. Sigourney Weaver's character, Dana, in the original movies was written as a strong female. She was not a damsel in distress. She got her kids. She got herself out of trouble often enough. The Ghostbusters were there to, clean up what was left of the afterwards. She was a strong character. She didn't need to be saved. And I think that's probably the biggest part of this. Is not the biggest part. I think this is part of the problem of the movie and why it didn't sell, was this third wave feminist shit. Anyways, the meat of this movie was there, and when it was meaty, it was good. The problem with that is that it was too much fat, way too much fat, way too many chefs in the kitchen. If they were to just seriously whittle down whoever the hell wrote this thing out, whittle it down to a few select people and include some feedback from the original people, I really do think that they could make it work a whole lot better, and they could have made it work a whole lot better. And I am hoping for a sequel. Call me sentimental, call me stupid. The movie itself was a very, very, very rough start to a series, but I am hoping for a sequel. I am hoping that they take this lesson, they learn from it, and they move forward, and they decide what format of comedy and movie they want to be. So, in the end, did I like it? Did I hate it? I mean, it was okay. It had some fun laughs. It had some fun premises. Had some really cool visual effects. Kind of fell flat in a couple of places. The dance sequence was stupid as shit. So, would I recommend this movie? If you got nothing else to do on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon, and you just want to put on something that could be noise in the background, or if you want to pay attention to it and you don't want to be too critical and think about it, yeah, watch this movie. Anyways, folks, thanks for watching. Till next time, stay tuned.